Epic Universe has got a problem, and it's probably not what you think. So I've been keeping a close eye on all the news and information coming out of Epic Universe. I mean, of course, right? It's the newest theme park to enter the lineup here in the Orlando area, and there's no way around it. It's really exciting for theme park fans and Universal fans alike. And while the park isn't officially open just yet, there have been previews, so people have had the opportunity to experience the park, and they've been sharing their experiences online, and I've been keeping up with them, just seeing what people have to say. And I've been noticing something that I think is a much bigger problem than some people might be willing to admit. I know there are a lot of people out there who probably won't even take the time to talk about this, though I have heard some little blips about it here and there. There are some people out there who are having a really, really hard time with the idea that people who have experienced Epic Universe have anything to say outside of, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever experienced in my life, 10 out of 10, nothing went wrong, everything was perfect, no notes. And look, to be clear, I'm not talking about people who are having a hard time with negativity being spewed about Epic Universe. I mean, I could see how that would be understandable. That would elicit some pushback, especially from really big fans of theme parks or Universal, people who are looking forward to this and don't want anyone to yuck their yum. But this is more along the lines of, having their feelings hurt over basic information. Like, we're talking about the mildest of criticisms, things that people have experienced during their visit that they're sharing with others so that they can, prepare and not run into the same thing that they ran into. In other words, the same type of thing that you would expect from, I don't know, a community of people who all want to experience something and have the best time ever. And look, I get it. Okay, I know that there are a lot of people out there who are really excited for Epic Universe. I'm one of them. And so many of those people, they don't want anyone to dull the sparkle of this new thing that they're really excited about. That's a very human thing, But it crosses the line over into toxic, short-sighted mega fan territory when you can't even handle the mildest of criticisms about this thing that you're excited about. It's almost like they're not really excited about it at all. Or not necessarily that they're not really excited about it, but they have their own reservations. And so they're doing this thing that, again, a lot of people do, unfortunately, where they need to strong arm other people into convincing them that this is going to be the best thing ever, as opposed to just going, oh, okay, interesting take, and moving on. But anyway, I find this to be super interesting. Seeing this play out in real time is just fascinating to me because it's almost like the toxic, short-sighted mega fan is exacerbating the problem that they're trying to avoid in the first place. And in the event that one of those people is watching this, I want to just explain why this is the case. And this isn't just speculation on my behalf. I've seen this play out time after time. This is not the first time that this has ever happened, and it's certainly not exclusive to theme parks. Anytime people are really, really passionate about a thing and they try to hush everyone from talking about anything that might be negative or criticism or honestly just information that people should be aware of, it honestly sets everybody up for failure. And no party here, including the theme parks, including this toxic, short-sighted mega fan, or the average Joe who just wants to experience a thing for the first time, no one comes out on top. And here's why that is, okay? So first and foremost, if there are no complaints, there are no problems. And if there are no problems, there are no solutions. When I first started going to Universal, which was just over a year ago, I started finding myself in conversations where people had a lot to say about Universal, good, bad, and otherwise. And one of the things that I heard time and time again is that Universal listens to their guests. If you have a complaint, it's going to be resolved. If you do the surveys, you're going to see change. And over the past year, I've noticed that this is true. It almost seems like they're paying attention. I know it's a radical idea, especially for my Disney fans who happen to be watching this. And so you would think that if they are paying attention, the thing to do would be communicate any issues that you're experiencing, especially when something, an attraction, a land, a whole theme park, is in what Universal calls a technical rehearsal. Basically meaning it's not 100%, so, just bear with us here. So what happens if no one says anything? No complaint, no problem, no solution. When these toxic, short-sighted mega fans make it so that people can't share their honest experiences, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, even if they're the mildest inconvenience or something that they notice might be a problem for others, it does much more than just dulls the sparkle of this thing that they hope will be perfect. It makes it so that the people trying to make it perfect don't know what to do in order to make it perfect. There is no complaint, so there is no problem, and thus there is no solution. It literally helps nobody. But it doesn't just stop here, right? Because arguably, not every problem that you encounter at a place like Epic Universe is gonna be Epic Universe's problem to solve. Some of these things you're gonna have to figure out on your own. You're gonna have to prep. You're gonna have to know about what to prep for. You coming with me on this one? And if people don't talk about it or they don't complain, then there's no problem, then there's nothing to prep for. And that in and of itself is a problem. And it's going to be a problem for the casual visitor and also for the mega fan. See, I'm on the internet just like you. Let's not kid each other here. I see all the people who say, I can't believe that you wouldn't know this about visiting the theme parks. If no one's talking about it, no one knows it. It's a wild concept, I'm telling you. All of this is mind-blowing. And look, there's a whole spectrum of how big a deal this can be, right? Because on one side, it's casually annoying to not know certain details, but on the other end, it's majorly problematic. I mean, people visit the theme parks with kids. It's really important to know certain things when you're traveling with kids. I know that not everyone has that on the front of their minds, but certain details about the parks, what food is available, if there's places to cool off, all of that is really important if you're traveling with kids. And if you don't have that information, depending on your kid, depending on your situation, that can be a major problem. It can even impact your health. I mean, this is Florida after all. It gets hot. And the heat impacts kids, especially little kids, a little bit differently than it impacts those of us who have got a handle on this thing that we're doing, and can easily communicate what our wants and needs are. But there are also people who are visiting the theme parks with disabilities, as a basic but also pretty obvious example. There are things that they need to know so that they can prepare, so that they can have a fun time, but also be safe during their visit. And you can't prepare if you don't know. Now, the most interesting part of this conversation, at least for me, is the result. What actually happens? How does this play out when you put people in a situation where they don't feel like they can share their honest experiences, and as a result, people don't get the information that they need to set reasonable expectations or even just prepare? Now, we don't officially know yet, right? Epic hasn't officially opened. But those of us who, we've seen this type of thing play out before, we've got an idea. And I'm gonna share my thoughts on this with you, because I think it's a reality check that some people could really use. When people like these toxic, short-sighted mega fans put people in this position, both people who feel like they might not be able to share their honest experiences because of the pushback they're going to get, but also people who are just trying to prepare accordingly so they can have the best time ever. They think that the result is going to be an overwhelmingly positive one. People are going to step into this situation not knowing what to expect, and then they're going to be blown away and overfilled with joy and happiness and excitement. It's going to be the best time ever. And while that might be true for some people, generally speaking, it's actually the opposite. When you don't give people the tools to set reasonable expectations and know what to expect or any of that, they usually don't come out on top. They come out feeling overwhelmed, underprepared, and having a miserable time rather than having the best time of their lives. And again, that's not going to be the case for everyone either. Some people are really good at bobbing and weaving, but some people aren't. And you know what happens when people are kind of off balance because of situations like this? They bitch. If you think people are complaining now because they're commenting about what the park is like when there's a weather delay, which, by the way, we have here in Florida all the time, so it's important to know what to expect. It's not like it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Or people who are, saying there's not a ton of shade, so you want to prepare accordingly for that. Just imagine what it's going to be like here in a couple weeks when the park opens to everybody. I can't say for sure, but I'm willing to put money on the fact that those criticisms are going to be a little bit harsher than what you're getting from some content creators and annual pass holders. But anyway, yeah. So those are just my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on what I think is going to be Epic's biggest problem, especially right at the beginning. New things always have growing pains, so it's part of it, but I do think that this like loyal fan base that's giving people problems, which by the way, I use big air quotes there because I honestly believe that the most loyal fans are the ones who are sharing their honest experiences so that others can prepare themselves to have the best time ever. It's not the people who are trying to like be problematic. They're a whole different category, but that's a whole different discussion. So we'll save that for another day. But for now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to just hear what you have to say about this. And, you know, have you encountered any of this when you're trying to look up information about Epic Universe? If you've been to Epic Universe already, how was it? Did you like it? Or if you stayed at one of the newer hotels that have opened ahead of Epic, have you felt comfortable sharing your honest experiences, or do you feel like there are consequences to that make you think twice about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, keep it kind. It's as simple as that. No tolerance for the toxic BS that some of you like to pull. So that's going to get yeeted real quick. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And until then, have a fantastic day wherever it is you are. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, you know, one of the things I hear people say all the time is that you should not criticize Epic because they're in technical rehearsal. You guys do know that technical rehearsal is where people give feedback, right? Just something to think about.